because depending on where you place people, it makes a difference as to the money that you make. But more than anything else, you know, when you're building a business, it needs to be about your relationships with people. The people need to matter to you, because it's important to build a business that's going to be a long-term thing. You want to be able to, I think I might need to raise this up. I think you'll want to be able to have relationships and the structure that's going to take you way down the road in a solid way. And when I talk about relationships, this is what I'm thinking about. If you enroll somebody and they say they don't want to do the business, but they're willing to place the order of an LRP that, you know, qualifies for your Power of 3 bonus, for example. And so then you're like, okay, then I can place people under them because they said they're going to do the order. But if they're not building the business and you place people under them, down the road, you know, they really are not obligated to continue that order. They may or they may not. But because you've placed people under them, now you have an expectation for them, certain things they need to do, right? Because you've now enrolled people under them. And also, they now know that you expect things. And it begins to make the relationship a little muddy, a little challenging. That's one scenario. So I would not suggest placing people under people who are not doing the business if you're going to build to your Power of 3 team bonus, because it can go away. And if you're placing people under them, then maybe you place 3 people under them, or even 2, and then down the road they quit doing their order because they're really not doing the business. Now you have 2 people that could have been on your front line that are down on another level, and you could have done a whole different situation with them, and it could have been way more beneficial to you and to them. It puts a strain on the relationship. That's just one of the things that can happen, but here's something I want to share with you in case you don't know. Right now, the leadership retreat, the second one, is happening in Florida, okay? Yes, dynamic compression. Okay, that's another key thing, but there's more to that you're not understanding probably. So don't let me forget, I have a new announcement to make. That dōTERRA is something they're going to do. So if you haven't heard this, make sure that I get reminded to talk about that. But I want to address the dynamic compression right now too, okay? So dynamic compression has to do with the unilevel. That means that if somebody is not qualified, that the unilevel commissions below that person, like the person on your first level, didn't qualify to get paid, right? They didn't have their 100 PV order in. Then the other people, if they didn't order, then the people below them, they will roll up. In other words, all of the levels will fill up, so as full as they can to fill out your 7 levels. Okay, so that's awesome. That is one of the awesome things that is built into dōTERRA. However, there's another part of this down the road that most people don't think about. If you are enrolling people that are using the oils and are making the orders that will qualify them, then you're literally, every time you place somebody down on another level, say you place somebody down on your 3rd or 4th level that you enrolled, okay, you enrolled this person, and then they decide they're going to build. So now they're on their 4th level and they're building, right? But the people above them, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd levels, are actually making a 100 PV order, but they're really not doing the business, right? Okay, now that person that you just enrolled who is just really building, you're not going to get a huge portion of your money that you could have in the unilevel, because you're only going to be able to tap into those top, the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th levels. okay, from that person. It's going to push all of that volume down further. And you might, experience that, well, okay, yes, there's a benefit, and it still works good, and it rolls up to a degree. But over the long term, you will make way more money in the beginning and in the end if you enroll people on your first level. There are so many reasons why to do that. So many reasons. And when I think of all of the stories I could tell you, it's almost overwhelming. There's so many. I mean, I have a lot of people on my team, and I've experienced a lot of things personally, and I've watched them happen. So what you're really looking for is to find people who really want to build business. But what are they doing? You've got to come back to the thing that is duplicatable, which is the $50 bonus. That's really what you're focusing on. And so by placing people on your first level, you can make that super solid. And down the road, if you think, oh, I've got too many people on my first level, guess what? After you make Presidential Diamond, you can then create for your bonus that are start enrolling on first line. I'm not sure what you're meaning about that exactly. So now it got me off my train of thought, but it's like both of those thoughts were really juicy. Anyway, remind me which topic here. But you can use people that you've enrolled on your first level to create an M1 or an M2, which means you can start after you've created you've made the rank of Presidential Diamond, okay, then you can actually start to add people from your first level to create a second level. And, you can be a double blue diamond, a double Presidential Diamond, but you can only pull people from your first level to do that, okay? So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have too many people on my front level, no, that's okay. And even if they're just users of the oils, guess what happens in dōTERRA? People keep using the oils. How many times down the road do people decide to do the business because the product is so amazing? Often. So you're not losing anything. And here's the cool thing I want to share, though. This has been such an issue with dōTERRA that they are looking to incorporate a new feature into the company. So I don't know if you've heard about this. This is really new, and it won't be put in place for a few weeks. I'm not sure how long it will take, but here's what they're going to be doing. Because it's an issue of, you don't know if somebody's really going to do the business or not, so where do you place them, right? And, maybe you placed them down here, you needed volume, but then all of a sudden they start to build, and you're like, oh, I wish they were on my first level, right? Because every time you have somebody on your first level that builds, that does away with a lot of work for you. If you're placing people down under, you have a lot of work. You have a lot of people to follow up, and it complicates it. So, I'm just saying there's a simpler way to do this. Anyway, what dōTERRA is going to do is do away with the preferred member account. Are you familiar with that? So a preferred member, you could only put them on your first level, right? And use the volume right under you. Well, they're going to do away with that. And the next thing they're going to do is they're going to create what they're calling a wholesale membership. So you can become, or a wholesale customer, that's what it is. A wholesale customer or a wellness advocate. So then you get a choice. So when you enroll, you can either enroll as a wholesale customer or a wellness advocate, and it's going to cost you the same amount of money. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of each one of these, okay? So if you enroll somebody, and you can ask them now, do you want to do the business or not? Because it costs the same, and they can say, oh, I really don't want to do the business. I just want to use the product and get them wholesale. It's like, awesome. Okay. Now, as their enroller, you have the option to place them wherever you need volume, because you will be able to count their LRP and their volume towards your qualifications for Power of 3, your unilevel, your rank, and everything. But you will not be able to place anybody down under them. They will not be able to build. They will not be able to enroll anybody. And if they make the choice to be a wholesale customer in the beginning, then they cannot upgrade to a Wellness Advocate account for 90 days. So for 90 days, they can use the oils and, see how that goes. Okay? Yes, they can. So the wholesale customers can qualify for the free products and everything like a Wellness Advocate. Everything the same as far as the products go, the perks, the LRP, all of that, right? Isn't that awesome? They get the same benefits, except they cannot tap into any of the income, none of the business aspects, okay? So after, they can't collect any commissions because they can't have a downline, okay? But you'll be able to collect commissions on what they do. So you'll be able to place them wherever you need for volume. Now here's the cool thing. After 90 days, anytime after 90 days, then if they decide they want to upgrade and do the business, all they have to do is just call the company, and they might have a link where they can do that on the website too. Anyway, then they can upgrade to the Wellness Advocate account, and for no cost. And guess what happens? As the enroller, you're going to get an email. So even if you don't know, and somebody that you enrolled as a customer now changed to a Wellness Advocate, you're going to get an email that's going to say, hey, so-and-so just changed their account to a Wellness Advocate, so you now have 14 days to move that person anywhere you want. Is that awesome? That's powerful. That does away with a lot of issues that they've been having. So for those of you who have been building the business, you'll understand how powerful this is. It's very sweet. And the preferred member account just won't exist anymore. And so I'm not sure if they will, what they'll do with the current preferred members, if they will just roll over to customers or not. I don't really know what they're going to do with that. I think they're going to be able to have the website to order from too. I think all of that will be in place, but they won't have all of the same things that a Wellness Advocate has that way, like, all of the things for the business. In fact, yeah, I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work with their ordering, but I'm pretty sure even the preferred members, were able to order online, okay? Yeah, that will help a lot. Even at that, even though you're able now to place people anywhere when they enroll and use the volume wherever you need and be able to move them, here's another thing that you want to really pay attention to is if you're going to move somebody when they start to do the business later on, like if they become a Wellness Advocate, imagine if you had not talked to the person that you placed them under originally. So you need some volume somewhere, and you're placing the volume down under somebody that's, they're a Wellness Advocate, but they're really not building the business. So you placed them there, but you really didn't have a conversation with that person. Then imagine what would happen when, all of a sudden that person under them starts to do the business, and then all of a sudden they're gone because you now moved them, right? It's important. If you use this new program and the way they're going to do it, that if you place a new person who is just a customer under somebody, it's vital that you have a conversation with the person that will be their sponsor. They need to understand that you are placing this person there for volume, But when they start to do the business, that you are going to move them up under your first level, because that's where you would want them. You may want them somewhere else, but for lots of reasons, that's where I'd recommend placing them. So yeah, that's, that will work as long as you're having clear communication with the people, so that you're not, taking somebody away from somebody when they're counting on that person now, And also, when you're placing people under other people, you have to be aware that a lot of things happen if you're not having clear communication, where there can be expectations, misunderstandings. People can start to feel entitled and like you should be placing people under them, or they can feel like, they are expected to do the same for others, and it can put a lot of undue pressure on, and it can once again cause them, the relationships to be kind of yucky. So whenever you place anybody under somebody else, it's important that there is clear communication and clear understanding happening.